Lastly, before I lose you, you wrote a pretty harsh letter to Secretary Ben Carson, the HUD secretary and former neurosurgeon who grew up in public housing, who grew up in poverty, who now has a plan to gut the Fair Housing Act, which is pretty shocking news to learn about Mr. Carson. What would you say to him if he happens to have his TV on MSNBC this morning?
Well, I sent him a letter, and he sent me a letter, claiming that I had no manners, etc. I basically said to my staff, I really don't have time to be bothered with somebody who doesn't know the difference between REO and OEO. I mean, this guy just doesn't have the background, the capability, the intelligence to do the job. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't care about this issue. He rises to the occasion to basically support this president any opportunity that he gets. And so I'm going to be so happy when they're all out of here. They're hurting our country. They're undermining our democracy. And they're being very destructive. And I hope the American people can see that if we allow this president and his cabinet to get away with what they're doing, they will be destroying, the presidency and that office forever.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw, which was Joy-Ann Reid, host of an MSNBC show, and Maxine Waters talking about Ben Carson in a very negative way. This is what the left does. They always attack people on the right, especially if they're black. Oh, that's the main thing. You're a black Trump supporter. You're a black person, a conservative. You're going to get attacked the most from the mainstream media that says that the right are always attacking black people and they hate black folks. But I can't really tell if they're projecting or just simply lying. But for now, I digress. Let's get into what was said. The most absurd thing there was about his intelligence. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about what Joy Reid said about the Fair Housing Act. She said that he wants to, quote unquote, gut the Fair Housing Act. Well, that's not really the case. What he wants to do is just change it to make it better and easier to use. The rules from the Obama years had a lot of red tape and regulations and made it difficult for people to be able to use that particular law to get people into housing, to have a supply of housing that made sense, and to give local people better control over the whole situation. Okay, so you're using the word guts. It's a loaded term. You're saying that like he wants to just eliminate it. You brought up the fact that he was in public housing as if, oh, well, he grew up in the projects. He wants to remove the projects and remove public housing. That's not what he's saying. He just wants to make it better. Matter of fact, Ben Carson, I think, accused a California city in 2018 of discrimination for violating the Fair Housing Act. So I don't think a guy who accused a city of discrimination due to violating the Fair Housing Act by not allowing blacks and Latinos into certain housing would be the person that just removes certain things that will allow for that kind of legal action to press forward. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. But again, you're dealing with the swamp. You're dealing with the leftist mainstream media, which are the same thing. Maxine Waters, Joy-Ann Reid, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, they're all pretty much one and the same. They're all in bed together, sometimes literally, but I digress. Let's get to Maxine Waters. The biggest whopper here was that Ben Carson is somehow not intelligent enough to be the HUD secretary. Now, if you don't know HUD, that's Housing or Urban Development. Trump appointed him to that particular role, and to me, it makes sense. Some say it does not make sense because Ben Carson has no experience in that role as far as being in government. Maybe what they want is a 35-year swamp rat to be in there doing that particular job. Now, nothing against anybody with experience. There are some good people in the swamp that have experience, that know what they're talking about, that know what they're doing. They do a very good job. But not every job has to be filled by a deep state swamper or a longtime federal employee or something like that. Maybe, just maybe, you're able to get kind of an outsider in who is able to do a good job, who is not necessarily tainted by Washington, D.C. They have a life outside of the Beltway. They're not in that world, so they can come in there and do a good job in the administration. Why not? Okay, now, Ben Carson It doesn't matter if he is experienced in this particular role in the government or not. Okay, a lot of these government jobs, quite frankly, aren't really that difficult. And for a guy like Ben Carson, it's got to be a cakewalk because this is a very smart person. I don't have a 300 IQ. I am not a Rhodes Scholar, a rocket scientist, or a brain surgeon, but I know somebody who is a brain surgeon, and that is Ben Carson. Literally a brain surgeon. That is what he does, or what he did before he retired, or whatever the case may be. I doubt that you can be an unintelligent person and at the same time a brain surgeon. I'm not really sure how that kind of makes any sense, but for now, I digress. The point is that Ben Carson is a very smart person. There was a movie about his life called Gifted Hands back in 2012, I believe, or earlier, with Cuba Gooding Jr. Long before he came into politics, long before he came into the White House, he was already a household name. Black folks had pictures of Ben Carson on the wall like he was Jesus. They had his book, Gifted Hands. This is a well-known person, a very well-respected person. The media want to just kind of dogpile on him, make him appear to be a buffoon or incompetent because he is a conservative. Before he got into this role of being conservative and being in the administration and being Donald Trump's friend, when Donald Trump became the president, before that, there was no such talk like this. Ben Carson isn't intelligent. He doesn't know the difference between this and that, all this, that, and the third. There was never this kind of talk. The only reason why the talk is happening right now is because he is on the right. If he were just kind of politically agnostic or on the left, everybody would be singing his praises left, right, front, center. Now it seems like lines have been drawn in the sand, you understand? Before you could just say Ben Carson, an intelligent person, kind person, knows what he's doing, well-respected, all around the world, world-famous brain surgeon. Now it's kind of a party thing. The left, they're going to all be against him. You're going to have straight racism that comes out from white folks, black folks, Asians, whatever, on the left against black folks on the right when they don't agree. And then, like I said earlier, the left will always say the right, they're racist, they hate brown people, they hate immigrants, they hate all these other, they hate poor people. But then when people that they're talking about, who you're trying to quote unquote defend, disagree with them on the left, all of a sudden, all the things that they say the right spew against those protected classes, the left will then spew at the same protected classes. Okay, I'm seeing all type of rhetoric. I saw Anna Navarro on Twitter the other day talking about who votes for Trump. The black support for Trump can't be that high, referring to the polls that said like 34% of black Americans support the current president. Oh, the numbers can't be that high. Did it go to the guy with the funny hat and the polyester and Cuban zirconia ladies just disrespecting people that are black, happy to be conservative? But at the same time, she'll say that the right does that. This is all projection. This is all just them trying to attack those that are not on the same team with them. As I close, I want to say this. Joy-Ann Reid and Maxine Waters going on television talking about Ben Carson lets you know that this ain't even about a race thing, because everybody involved is black. Joy-Ann Reid black, Maxine Waters black, Ben Carson black. It's not even about the race. It's about the ideology. It's about the particular side of the aisle that you are on. If you're on the right, the left will attack you. That's pretty much what it is. Racism is not an issue. They keep trying to push that as a thing that is omnipresent and omnipotent in all of our lives. But as we can see, that's just not the case. The truth is that ideology reigns supreme. Are you on the right? Are you on the left? Do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? It's all about ideas. And quite frankly, that's the way that it should be. But I would take a civil debate about our disagreements rather than the hateful and baseless name calling. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Joy-Ann Reid and Maxine Waters were correct about Ben Carson? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think that they're not correct? Do you think that Maxine Waters has some kind of nerve trying to talk about somebody's intelligence when I'm not sure if she's the sharpest knife in the drawer? She might be a few trees short of a forest, a few fries short of a Happy Meal herself. And Joy-Ann Reid, I'm not sure she's ever been seen as a towering pillar of intelligence. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys know something I don't know. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.